I'm just Nick, and this is the ADA Final Phase. I don't know. So this thing is a exact recreation of the late 70s ADA Final Phase phaser with two improvements. One is true bypass switching, and the second is some added gain range on the overdrive section. What, you say? Overdrive section? I thought this was a phaser. Well, the original ADA phaser combined both a phaser and an overdrive, so that you could get really nice, crunchy Ernie Isley in one pedal, which is kind of cool. You can even use the overdrive section just as a standalone overdrive if you turn down all the phasing knobs. This pedal also has another interesting feature, which is that it has a control voltage input, so that you can use it with a control pedal and sweep the phase rate with that pedal. You can either use the pedal to control the phase rate entirely, or using what is called a range control knob, you can control how much the knobs control the phase rate and how much the pedal does. Basically, this phaser is capable of a wide range of sounds, all of them on the vintage kind of chewy side. It's got a lot of headroom, probably partly because it's running off 110 volts AC. So it works really well with distortions, both before and after. But the main thing is that you can get a really wide range of phasing. Oh my God, this also has another feature that most phasers do not, which is an additional low frequency modulation, a modulation of the modulation, as it were. Check it out. Regular phasing, modulated phasing, almost a sort of randomization, because you have two sort of rates of modulation happening, two different rates sort of intersecting in odd ways rhythmically. It's pretty cool, and it's something that makes this phaser feel more dynamic, even though you're not really controlling that modulation with your fingers. The fact that it's in there just kind of adding some dynamics to the sound that are not completely regular gives this phaser a more lively quality than many phasers. One of the pitfalls of modulation effects often is that they're not dynamic. They just sort of slather themselves on your sound, and they can become a bit fatiguing. But this is one of the few phasers that I feel, even at pretty extreme settings, because it's so kind of thick and textured sounding, and because it has this additional modulation, you can use it in pretty extreme ways without it becoming fatiguing. It stays interesting. It doesn't kind of take away from the musicality of what you're playing. I think it would work great live, but I think where it really excels in all its subtlety and variation is probably in the studio. If you're into phasing sounds, but standard phasers just seem a little bit too sort of plain and undynamic for you, this is a really, really cool one to consider. Call up or email on the interwebs the guys at Rock and Roll Vintage, and they will hook you up. Until next time.